Have you ever been told that after 60, it's just downhill for muscle strength? That your body simply can't build and maintain lean mass the way it used to? That eggs or meat are your only hope for getting enough protein to keep your muscles from wasting away? That idea is not only outdated, it ignores one of nature's quiet but powerful gifts. There is a humble being that gram for gram can stimulate muscle repair and growth in a way that rivals animal protein without spiking inflammation or weighing down digestion. And the science behind it might surprise you. Here's the truth. Your body is designed to heal itself, adapt, and renew muscle tissue at any age. The problem isn't that you can't build muscle after 60, it's that your body becomes more selective about how it uses protein. Think of it like a wise craftsman who no longer rushes to use any material lying around. Your muscles are asking for the right amino acids, in the right form, delivered in a way your aging digestion can still efficiently break down and use. And that's where this bean comes in. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical. You've probably heard that plant proteins are incomplete or weaker than animal proteins. That myth is based on an old misunderstanding. While it's true that some plants lack certain essential amino acids, there are notable exceptions, and one of them contains a remarkably high amount of leucine, the key amino acid that triggers muscle protein synthesis, the very process your body uses to repair and grow muscle fibers after activity. In older adults, getting enough leucine in a single meal can make the difference between slowly losing muscle or steadily rebuilding it. Why does this matter so much for seniors? Because after 60, sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass, can creep in without obvious warning. It's not just about vanity or strength in the gym. Muscle tissue is one of your most metabolically active organs. It stabilizes blood sugar, supports balance and mobility, and even keeps your immune system resilient. Lose muscle, and everything from walking speed to wound healing slows down. Gain or maintain it, and you dramatically improve your odds of living independently, moving without pain, and enjoying the freedom of your body for years to come. The challenge? Many older adults either aren't getting enough quality protein, or are eating it at times when their body isn't primed to use it for muscle repair. It's not just eat more protein. It's eat the right protein, in the right way, at the right time. This bean happens to check all three boxes, and unlike eggs, it comes with fiber, minerals, and compounds that reduce inflammation and improve gut health, which is crucial because your gut is the gateway to every nutrient your muscles need. Today we're going to look at the surprising science behind this muscle-building bean, how it works in your body, and the best way to use it if you're over 60 and want to keep your muscles strong. We'll talk about the specific amino acid trigger that flips on muscle protein synthesis, how to pair this bean with other foods to make it even more effective, and why timing your intake can double your results. We'll also touch on the hidden connection between muscle tissue, brain health, and longevity, because strong muscles aren't just about strength, they're about keeping your mind sharp and your energy steady. If you care about moving with confidence, aging with energy, and giving your body the raw materials it needs to stay strong without relying on medications or hype, stay with me until the end, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the natural wisdom your body is craving. Most people think muscle growth is simply a matter of eating enough protein and doing some resistance training. That's true to an extent, but there's a more precise trigger inside your body, one that acts like a light switch for muscle repair. That switch is leucine. Leucine is one of the 9 essential amino acids, meaning your body cannot produce it on its own. It must come from food. When leucine levels in your bloodstream reach a certain threshold, it activates a molecular pathway called M2 or mechanistic target of rapamycin. This is the biological signal that tells your muscle cells it's time to build. Without that leucine threshold, you could eat plenty of protein but still fail to fully activate the muscle repair process. Here's the part that's critical for anyone over 60. Research shows that older adults have what's called anabolic resistance. This means your muscles require a higher amount of leucine in one sitting to trigger M2R compared to younger people. Where a younger person might get results from 1.8 grams of leucine in a meal, someone over 60 might need closer to 2.5 to 3 grams. That's why simply nibbling on small amounts of protein throughout the day often fails to preserve muscle. You need enough leucine all at once to cross that activation threshold. Eggs are often touted as a gold standard for leucine, with one large egg containing about 0.5 grams, But to hit the anabolic threshold with eggs alone, you'd need to eat 5 or 6 in one sitting, something many older adults either can't digest well or prefer not to do for cholesterol or ethical reasons. This is where our humble bean enters the story. 1 cup of cooked soybeans, also called edamame in their green form, contains over 3 grams of leucine along with about 28 grams of complete protein. That means a single cup can meet the leucine threshold for most older adults in one meal without the heaviness or potential digestive discomfort that sometimes comes with a big plate of meat or eggs. What's happening in your body when you eat a leucine-rich food like soybeans is remarkable. The leucine molecules enter your bloodstream, bind to sensors inside your muscle cells, and activate M2-OR. Once M2-OR is switched on, your body begins assembling new muscle proteins from the amino acids you've consumed. This process is most effective if it happens after you've given your muscles a reason to grow through resistance training, even light bodyweight exercises, or daily functional movements like lifting groceries or climbing stairs. Think of exercise as the permission slip for muscle building, and leucine as the construction crew that gets to work. Now, the benefit of getting leucine from soybeans instead of just supplements is that you're not delivering a single amino acid in isolation. You're giving your body a complete package: other essential amino acids, fiber to support gut health, magnesium for muscle relaxation, and phytonutrients that calm inflammation. Supplements can play a role, but nature often designs food in a way that the parts work synergistically. In this case, the combination of leucine with those other nutrients means your body is more likely to use it effectively and less likely to experience imbalances. For practical use, here's what I recommend if you want to leverage leucine for muscle maintenance and growth after 60. First, aim for at least 1 meal per day where you hit that leucine threshold in a single sitting. That could be a cup of cooked soybeans in a stir fry, a hearty miso and edamame soup, or roasted soybeans as part of a warm grain bowl. Second, try to time this leucine-rich meal within 2 hours after you've done some kind of muscle-loading activity. That might be a short session with resistance bands, a walk that includes hill climbs, or simple chair squats at home. Your muscles are more sensitive to protein during this post-activity window, so you'll get more out of the same food. Third, remember that your body can only use so much protein for muscle building at once. If you have another protein meal, space it out by at least 3 to 4 hours to allow the leucine switch to reset before you turn it on again. If this is helping you see muscle health differently, tap the like button. It helps us reach more people who need this. And if you're learning something new here, subscribe, because there's more natural healing wisdom to come. The takeaway is this: muscle growth after 60 is absolutely possible, but it's not just about more protein. It's about the right amount of the right amino acids at the right time. Leucine is your body's signal for growth, and soybeans happen to deliver it in a clean, nutrient-dense, and easily adaptable form. If you treat leucine like the key that unlocks your muscle's repair system, you'll start to see why one simple bean can stand shoulder to shoulder with eggs in the quest for strength and longevity. Even if you're eating enough protein on paper, that doesn't mean your body is actually getting the full benefit. What really matters is how much of that protein you can break down into amino acids, absorb through your gut, and deliver to your muscles. And this is where many older adults unknowingly face a silent barrier: the amino acid utilization gap. As we age, our digestive physiology changes. One of the most important shifts is a gradual reduction in stomach acid production. Stomach acid isn't just there to make digestion uncomfortable when you eat spicy food. It's essential for breaking apart the tight bonds in protein molecules. Without enough acid, large chunks of protein pass into the small intestine, only partially digested. The enzymes in your pancreas can only do so much. So instead of a rich stream of amino acids flowing into your bloodstream, you end up with less, sometimes far less, than you expected from the label on your food. For example, you might eat 25 grams of protein from a piece of chicken or a protein shake, but if your digestion is compromised, your muscles might only have access to 15 or 18 grams worth of usable amino acids. Over weeks and months, that gap can add up to lost muscle tissue, slower recovery, and a higher risk of sarcopenia. This is where the type of protein you choose becomes crucial. Soybeans and other properly prepared legumes offer a unique advantage for older digestion. Their protein structure is softer and less fibrous than dense cuts of meat, which means your body needs less stomach acid and mechanical breakdown to access the amino acids inside. They also contain enzymes and prebiotic fibers that support gut health, helping you absorb nutrients more efficiently over time. When your gut microbiome is balanced, it produces short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation in the gut lining, allowing amino acids to pass through more effectively into your bloodstream. There's another often overlooked factor: inflammation in the digestive tract. Chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes from years of processed food, medications, or even hidden food sensitivities, can make your gut lining less efficient at nutrient absorption. Soybeans are rich in anti-inflammatory phytochemicals, particularly isoflavones, which have been shown to help calm the gut environment. A calmer gut is a more absorptive gut, and that's exactly what you want if you're trying to bridge the amino acid utilization gap. Now, the practical application: if you suspect your digestion isn't as strong as it once was, maybe you feel heavy or bloated after eating meat, or you notice undigested food in your stool, you can improve absorption in a few ways. First, focus on smaller, well-chewed portions of high-quality protein at each meal rather than one massive serving. Second, include plant-based proteins like soybeans in your diet several times a week, as they're easier to digest and come with digestive-friendly fibers. Third, avoid drinking large amounts of liquid during protein-heavy meals, as this can dilute stomach acid further. And for some people, adding a small amount of apple cider vinegar or lemon water before a meal can gently stimulate stomach acid production, making digestion more efficient. When you put this together with what we discussed about loosen, the strategy becomes clear. You don't just want to hit the loosen threshold, you want to make sure your body can actually use it. If your digestion isn't efficient, even the best protein source can't fully deliver its benefits. By choosing proteins that are naturally more digestible and support gut health, you give your body a much better chance to maintain and rebuild muscle, even in your later decades. If this makes sense and you're starting to see how your muscles and digestion are deeply connected, tap that like button. It really does help us reach more people who need this information. And subscribe if you want to keep learning the science behind healthy aging in a way that's simple and doable. The bottom line is that your muscles can only work with what your digestive system gives them. Closing the amino acid utilization gap is like repairing a leaky hose. Once the leaks are sealed, the full flow of nutrients reaches its target. And when those nutrients include a leucine-rich, easily digested source like soybeans, you're giving your body exactly what it needs to stay strong, recover faster, and age with more vitality. Even with enough leucine and solid digestion, there's another factor that can quietly sabotage muscle growth after 60: inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is so common in aging that many people think it's just a normal part of getting older. But in reality, it's one of the biggest reasons your muscles may not respond to protein and exercise the way they should. Inflammation isn't always bad. In fact, a short burst of it is part of the healing process. When you exercise, tiny micro tears occur in your muscle fibers. Your immune system sends in inflammatory messengers to start the repair process. This controlled temporary inflammation is how muscles adapt and grow stronger. But here's the problem: when inflammation is already high in your body from other causes, that repair signal gets muffled. It's like trying to hear someone speaking in a quiet room versus in the middle of a noisy crowd. Your muscles can't get a clear message to grow because the background inflammatory noise is too loud. What causes this chronic inflammation? For many older adults, it's a mix of factors: unbalanced blood sugar, long-term stress, poor sleep, excess visceral fat, and yes, even certain foods that trigger low-level immune reactions. Over time, this inflammation damages not just joints and blood vessels, but also the cellular machinery inside your muscles that's responsible for repair and energy production. This is where our bean friend shines again. Soybeans contain bioactive compounds called isoflavones and polyphenols, which have been shown in multiple studies to reduce markers of inflammation in the body. These compounds act like quiet diplomats, helping your immune system calm unnecessary inflammatory responses so it can focus on true repair work. When you combine that with the antioxidant content of soy, you get a double benefit: protection against oxidative stress and a reduction in the chronic inflammation that interferes with muscle recovery. Here's what's happening inside your muscles. When you lower chronic inflammation, the mTOR pathway we discussed earlier becomes more responsive. Your mitochondria can produce more energy for muscle contraction, and the enzymes that rebuild muscle fibers work more efficiently. It's like clearing the debris from a construction site so the workers can actually get to the job. Without that cleanup, even the best building materials, your amino acids, won't be used effectively. Practical application here is simple but powerful. First, make anti-inflammatory foods a daily habit, not just an occasional fix. That could mean a cup of steamed edamame with sea salt. as an afternoon snack, or adding cubed firm tofu to a vegetable stir-fry cooked in olive oil and turmeric. Second, pair your soy with other anti-inflammatory ingredients. Think ginger, green tea, or leafy greens to create a meal that's as soothing to your muscles as it is nourishing. Third, keep your sugar and refined carbohydrate intake in check, since blood sugar spikes can quickly ignite inflammatory processes that undo your progress. Some people worry about soy's phytoestrogens, but when consumed in whole, minimally processed forms, the evidence shows they are generally safe for most people and may even support bone and heart health, two systems that go hand in hand with strong muscles. Of course, if you have a known allergy or specific medical condition, always work with your healthcare provider. If you're starting to see the bigger picture, that building muscle after 60 isn't just about what you eat, but also the environment inside your body, hit that like button. And if you want to keep learning how to optimize that environment for strength, energy, and longevity, make sure you subscribe. The key idea here is that your muscle building plan will always work better in a body that's not constantly putting out inflammatory fires. By choosing leucine-rich, easy-to-digest, anti-inflammatory foods like soybeans, you're stacking the deck in your favor. You're not fighting your body, you're working with it, creating conditions where every meal and every workout counts toward a stronger, more resilient you. When we talk about muscle health, most people imagine the gym, the kitchen, or maybe the protein powder they keep in the pantry. Very few think about the trillions of microbes living in their gut, but your gut and your muscles are in constant communication, and the quality of that conversation can determine how well you hold on to muscle after 60. This is what scientists call the gut-muscle axis. Your gut microbiome, the community of bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms in your intestines, has a direct impact on muscle strength, endurance, and recovery. One reason is nutrient availability. The healthier and more balanced your gut bacteria are, the more efficiently you can absorb and use amino acids, minerals, and antioxidants. These nutrients are the raw materials for muscle repair, mitochondrial function, and connective tissue resilience. But the gut's role goes beyond digestion. Beneficial gut bacteria produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs, particularly butyrate, acetate, and propionate. These SCFAs are like molecular multi-tools. They help reduce systemic inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and even signal directly to muscle cells to improve function. Some research has shown that butyrate can increase the efficiency of muscle energy metabolism, meaning your muscles can do more work with less fatigue. The flip side is also true. If your gut microbiome is imbalanced, too many harmful bacteria, not enough beneficial ones, you can end up with a leaky gut, low-grade inflammation, and poor nutrient absorption. This is a recipe for gradual muscle loss, slower recovery, and reduced mobility over time. Here's where soybeans enter the picture yet again. Whole soy foods are rich in prebiotic fibers, specifically oligosaccharides, that feed beneficial bacteria in your colon. When these bacteria thrive, they produce more SCFAs, which in turn create a healthier internal environment for muscle preservation. Unlike many animal proteins, which provide essential amino acids but no fiber, soy protein delivers both the building blocks for muscle and the fuel for the microbes that support muscle health indirectly. Think of it as a two-level support system. At the top level, soy provides leucine and other amino acids that trigger muscle growth directly. At the foundational level, it feeds your gut bacteria so they can create the anti-inflammatory and metabolic conditions your muscles need to respond to that protein. In practical terms, you can nurture this gut-muscle connection by including whole soy foods like edamame tempeh or natto several times a week, ideally alongside a variety of other prebiotic-rich plants. Combining soy with foods like onions, garlic, asparagus, or slightly underripe bananas can diversify your microbiome even more. This variety is important because different bacteria specialize in producing different beneficial compounds, and your muscles benefit from all of them. Another strategy is to combine plant-based protein meals with light movement. Even a short walk after eating can improve gut motility and help nutrients get absorbed more efficiently. And if you've just done resistance work, feeding both your muscles and your microbes with a leucine-rich, fiber-rich meal is like sending reinforcements to every level of your muscle recovery system. If this is opening your eyes to how connected your body systems really are, tap that like button. And if you want to keep exploring these connections, subscribe, because there's a lot more natural healing wisdom to come. The takeaway is simple but profound. Your muscles don't work in isolation, and neither does your gut. When you feed your microbiome well, you're indirectly feeding your muscles. A strong gut supports a strong body, And soybeans, by combining complete protein with microbiome-friendly fiber, are one of nature's most efficient ways to strengthen both at the same time. You can eat the right amount of leucine, support your digestion, lower inflammation, and nourish your gut microbiome, but if you miss the timing, you leave a lot of potential muscle gains on the table. That's because your body doesn't treat every gram of protein equally at every moment. There are times when your muscles are more receptive, almost like the doors are wide open, and other times when they're only partially ajar. This period of maximum receptivity is often called the anabolic window. After you exercise, especially resistance training or any activity that challenges your muscle fibers become more sensitive to the presence of amino acids. This sensitivity can last for several hours, but is highest within the first 2 hours after activity. During this window, the mTOR pathway we talked about earlier is primed, blood flow to your muscles is increased, and nutrient transport is faster. In other words, if you provide your muscles with the right building blocks during this time, you'll get more repair and growth for the same amount of protein than if you wait until later. For someone over 60, this matters even more. Because of anabolic resistance, your muscles already require a higher leucine threshold to activate growth. Combine that with a missed anabolic window, and you're stacking two obstacles on top of each other. But when you match your protein intake to your body's timing advantage, you can overcome a large part of that resistance. Soybeans fit beautifully into this strategy. A single cup of cooked soybeans, or a portion of tempeh, delivers enough leucine to meet that threshold, plus all the other benefits we've discussed: digestibility, anti-inflammatory compounds, and microbiome support. That means a post-activity meal of soy protein not only activates muscle repair, but also improves the environment for ongoing growth. One way to put this into practice is to plan your day so that your most protein-rich meal happens after you've been physically active. This doesn't mean you have to do a full workout at the gym. It could be as simple as doing 15-20 minutes of resistance band exercises, a brisk walk with some uphill climbs, or light bodyweight moves like wall push-ups and chair squats. The goal is to signal to your muscles that they've been challenged, then feed them what they need to adapt. Another tip: if your activity session is in the morning, you can still use soy in a breakfast context. A warm tofu scramble with vegetables, or a smoothie with soy milk and a handful of shelled edamame can work as effectively as a lunch or dinner meal. If your session is in the evening, a lighter post-activity meal could be miso soup with tofu and seaweed, giving your muscles the amino acids they need without making digestion heavy before bed. Spacing matters too. Your muscles need time between high leucine meals for the mTOR pathway to reset. That means aiming for 3 to 4 hours between protein doses rather than grazing constantly. This rhythm allows you to flip the switch on muscle building multiple times a day instead of leaving it half on all the time. If you're realizing that building muscle after 60 isn't just about what you eat, but also when you eat it, tap that like button and subscribe if you want more natural strategies to keep your body strong and capable well into your later decades. The big idea here is simple. Your muscles have moments when they're practically asking for protein. If you listen to those cues and deliver a leucine-rich, digestible, anti-inflammatory, gut-friendly food like soy during that post-activity window, you're making the most of the work you've already done. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter with the body's own timing system. Soybeans are one of the few plant proteins that are naturally complete, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids in proportions that the body can use. That's why they can stand alongside eggs, fish, or meat as a primary protein source. But here's the interesting thing. Just because soy is complete doesn't mean you can't make it even more effective by pairing it with other foods. In fact, strategic food combinations can improve amino acid balance, enhance nutrient absorption, and even further reduce inflammation, creating the perfect environment for muscle growth. Here's why this matters. Even with complete proteins, different foods vary in the relative amounts of each essential amino acid. For example, soy is already rich in leucine, but it's slightly lower in methionine compared to some animal proteins. By pairing soy with foods richer in methionine, such as sesame seeds, Brazil nuts, or quinoa, you create an even more balanced amino acid profile. This is particularly valuable if you're getting most of your protein from plants, as it ensures your body never stalls the muscle building process due to a shortage of one critical amino acid. There's also a digestive synergy to consider. Certain herbs and spices like ginger, turmeric, and black pepper can improve protein digestion and reduce gut inflammation, making the amino acids in your soy-based meal more available to your muscles. Healthy fats from sources like avocado or olive oil can slow down the digestion just enough to extend the release of amino acids into your bloodstream, which may help sustain muscle repair over several hours. Here's an example of a muscle-friendly, synergistic meal: a quinoa and edamame salad with chopped fresh herbs, a sprinkle of toasted sesame seeds, diced avocado, and a light dressing made with lemon juice and olive oil. In this one dish, you've paired soy's leucine and complete protein with quinoa's methionine, sesame's mineral content, healthy fats, and plant compounds that support digestion and reduce inflammation. Every ingredient is working toward the same goal, giving your muscles the best possible environment to grow and stay strong. Another synergy worth mentioning is micronutrients. Muscle protein synthesis requires not just amino acids, but also cofactors like magnesium, zinc, and certain B vitamins. Soy provides some of these, but pairing it with leafy greens, nuts, or seeds increases your intake without needing supplements. Magnesium, for example, plays a key role in relaxing muscle after contraction, while zinc supports tissue repair and immune function, both essential for sustainable strength. And here's where timing and pairing intersect. You can amplify the post-activity anabolic window by delivering both protein and the micronutrients your muscles need at the same time. For instance, if you finish an evening resistance session, a stir-fry with tempeh, broccoli, red peppers, and sesame oil over a small portion of quinoa checks every box: leucine threshold, complementary amino acids, anti-inflammatory compounds, and key minerals. If you're starting to see how food can be more than just fuel, that it can be a carefully composed message to your body to grow stronger, hit that like button. And if you want to keep learning how to compose those messages, subscribe for more natural health strategies rooted in science. The main takeaway here is that soy on its own is powerful, but soy in the right company is exceptional. By thinking about pairings, not just for flavor, but for amino acid completeness, digestive support, and nutrient synergy, you make every protein-rich meal a stronger signal to your body: repair, rebuild, and keep me moving well for years to come. We've covered a lot of ground today, but it all comes back to one powerful truth. Your body is designed to heal, adapt, and grow stronger at any age if you give it the right signals and the right materials. After 60, building and preserving muscle isn't just about vanity or performance. It's about protecting your independence, keeping your metabolism active, and supporting the health of your brain, heart, and immune system. The first thing we learned was that leucine is the master switch for muscle growth. Without enough leucine in a single meal, your body can't fully activate the mTOR pathway that drives muscle protein synthesis. And because older adults need more leucine than younger people to trigger that switch, hitting that threshold becomes essential. That's why soybeans, delivering over 3 grams of leucine in a single cup, are such a game changer. We also explored the amino acid utilization gap, how changes in stomach acid and digestion with age can mean you're getting less usable protein than you think. Choosing a protein source that's easier to digest, like soy, helps bridge that gap while supporting gut health with fiber and prebiotic compounds. Then we looked at inflammation, not the temporary kind you get from exercise, but the chronic low-grade kind that interferes with repair and keeps your muscles in a state of stagnation. Soy's is of flavones and polyphenols help create a calmer, more receptive muscle environment, so every gram of protein works harder for you. From there, we connected the dots between the gut and the muscles. A thriving gut microbiome produces short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation, improve metabolism, and directly support muscle function. Feeding your gut bacteria with the prebiotic fibers in soy gives you an indirect but powerful advantage in the fight against muscle loss. We also talked about timing, the anabolic window after activity when your muscles are most eager to receive amino acids. Matching a leucine-rich soy meal to this window amplifies your results without extra effort. And finally, we discussed synergy, how pairing soy with other nutrient-rich foods like quinoa, sesame seeds, vegetables, and healthy fats can make your protein even more effective, while supporting the minerals and cofactors your muscles need to thrive. So what do you do with all of this? Here's your natural health challenge for the week. Choose 2 to 3 days where you'll intentionally build a post-activity meal around whole soy. It could be a cup of edamame after a brisk walk, a tempeh and vegetable stir-fry after light resistance band work, or a quinoa and tofu salad after gardening. Aim for enough soy to hit that leucine threshold, about 1 cup of cooked soybeans or an equivalent serving of tofu or tempeh, and combine it with at least 1 anti-inflammatory ingredient and 1 complementary protein source. Then, pay attention to how you feel over the next month. Your strength, recovery speed, and even your energy levels may start to shift. Remember, you're not fighting against your body's age, you're working with the way your body is designed. By focusing on leucine, digestion, inflammation control, gut health, timing, and synergy, you're creating a system where every small habit compounds into lasting strength and resilience. This isn't about quick fixes, it's about setting your body up to be strong, capable, and ready for whatever you want to do, whether that's carrying groceries with ease, playing with grandchildren, or hiking your favorite trail. If you found this helpful, let us know in the comments, what will you try first? And don't forget to subscribe and join this journey of natural healing and healthy aging. Your body is ready, you just need to give it what it needs.